Before we jump into this episode, I want to invite you to join our community to help you become a better steward, scale to billions, and ultimately give more or all of it away. All I want you to do is to click the subscribe button right now. I love your support. It's incredible to see your comments, and we're just getting started. I can't wait to go on this journey with you. Thank you so much for subscribing. It means the world to me. Welcome to the Build to Billions podcast, where we guide successful entrepreneurs and investors on their journeys from millions to billions. And we believe that the key to scaling your business and compounding your wealth starts every single day with the mindset and practice of stewardship over ownership and applying billionaire biblical principles. Our ultimate goal is to help you compound your wealth, grow your success, and ultimately make a bigger impact on the world. Hey, my name is Brett Swartz, and each and every episode we feature some of the world's top entrepreneurs, millionaires, and billionaires, and they share their secrets and wisdom with us so we can level up our faith, success, and impact. I'm excited about our next guest. He is out of the great state of New York, and he is on a mission to help alternative investment companies grow their business through proven podcast guesting strategies. He's a passive investor. He's also a dad to some girls as well, which is pretty cool. And he's also going to be talking about how we can compound our growth today as well as leaders through podcasting. I'm so excited to have Trevor Oldham on the show. Trevor, welcome. How are we doing?
I'm doing excellent today, Brett. Thanks so much for having me on the show and hopefully provide some value to your audience. Absolutely.
I know you will, as you're a master at all of these kind of things. Before we dive into the topic, which is really using, podcasting as a growth, I don't know if we call it a growth hack or a growth accelerator, right? I'm curious, in particular podcast hosting, I'm kind of curious a little bit about your background and if you could share it with us and our audience.
Yeah, most certainly. So long story short, I was always an entrepreneur and I was starting different businesses. So initially buying and selling phone cases from China, that graduated into buying bracelets and watches from China, trying to sell those. As an example, I'd buy a bracelet for $1, sell it for 10, buy a watch for 2, sell it for 20, and just always had that entrepreneurial spirit. And it was through those two companies that I started to really get into personal development and entrepreneurship, was listening to books, podcasts, audiobooks, trying to go to seminars if I could. And what that did is that led me into a company I'd started with a partner called Become the Lion. And through that company, it was a motivational based company. And what I mean by that is if you go on Instagram and you see motivational quotes, that's basically what we were doing. And we would sort of try to work to hack the Instagram algorithm. And essentially what that meant is we grew to about 100,000 followers within 6 months that was probably back in 2015 that we had done that. And it was at that same time we realized, okay, like what happens if Instagram shuts us down for whatever reason? We're not allowed to share these quotes. I mean, sometimes we might be sharing quotes from professional athletes, maybe Tom Brady, Conor McGregor, and maybe we get shut down. So I had the thought of going out there and starting a podcast and just interviewing successful entrepreneurs, business owners, real estate investors. I think I even interviewed a Hollywood actress at one point. And that was back in 2015. Fast forward 2 years, just the company, it wasn't working out. I was burning the candle at both ends. I was just going to college at the time. I was putting work in this business. And then I just started freelancing after those 2 years of running that business, basically using all the skills that I built up of editing people's podcasts, finding guests for the show, of creating social media content. And then that's what really led me to starting my company today, which is Podcasting You back in 2017, was really having that experience prior in 2015, getting started in the podcasting space then. And it's always interesting because most folks weren't really thinking of starting a podcast back in 2015, where today it's more relevant than it was back in 2015. But that's really how that start got it. I was just running this company, started freelancing, wanted to start to make some money, started to make some money in the business, started to pick up more clients. And I was like, wow, like after a year of doing it, I was like, this is my only business I've actually generated a good profit from. Might as well keep going on. And then it just, honestly, it really just took off back in 2020 with the pandemic and everyone being at home and more people being interested in podcasts. And it wasn't like this taboo subject where people had maybe heard of podcasts, but maybe they didn't really know what they were. People didn't really understand what podcast guesting was. So it really took off from 2020. I'm just, been in the space for going on 10 years now.
Awesome. By the way, you can learn more about Trevor Oldham by going to podcastingyou.com. That's podcastingyou.com. This is really cool. So entrepreneur, and also found something that you got very passionate about and also was profitable and kind of took off and has taken off. I'm curious though, Trevor, growing up before all of this, like what was Trevor's superpower? Like if you were to say, you know, as a kid, I was just always curious or was always driven, or what was the thing that people said, Trevor, you kind of naturally had, and how does that help how you help and bless people today when it comes to podcasting you? So if you like this little short clip of the interview I just did, click over here to watch the full interview. And please don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much, everybody.